What's going on, guys? In this video, I'll be covering two things, both of which are related to time. The first thing is answering a very common question I get asked very often, which is how long should I be working out on a total gym or sliding bench trainer? The second thing I'll be going over is a very practical tip. It's something I pretty much use almost every workout. I'm surprised I didn't make a video about this sooner, but I think it'll help reshape how you guys structure your workouts and just make life a little bit easier. Before I get into that, guys, as always, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing this content. Everything you guys can see featured in this video, including that total gym rower, which I've been breaking out more recently, can be found down below in the description box. All right, getting that first question out of the way, how long should you guys be spending on a typical total gym workout? As you guys can imagine, there's only like one straightforward answer because there's so many variables that kind of go into this. But based on my personal experience and working with you guys and feedback from you guys, I would say on average, if you're going to be doing like single body part workouts, like upper and lower body splits, I recommend something like push-pull legs. If you're doing like chest, back, and arms and different kind of segments of body parts, I would say an average I found works pretty good for most people is a minimum of 20 minutes upwards to maybe 40 minutes. So somewhere in that kind of range. And then if you're doing something like a total body workout, like I kind of feature in my workout poster, or other kind of templates that I recommend for you guys, where you're doing a lot more stuff all at once, you're gonna need a little more time. So probably minimum of 30 minutes upwards to 60 minutes is a good average. And this is just kind of factoring in that you are working each body part at least twice a week. All right, the next part I'm getting into really is the focal point of this video because I find it so useful, and like I said, I use it pretty much almost every workout. What I'm talking about is really organizing your workouts more so on the total time, the workout time that you're actually doing, versus worrying about the predetermined exercises, reps, and sets, and stuff like that. Because 9 times out of 10, even though those things are really important, it's good to have like some sort of plan in your head. Usually the main factor I'm always relying on is really my little watch here and just the running clock that I'm paying attention to. Now, I'm not saying this is the best way, but it's certainly an easy and practical method that keeps things really simple and not to get too lost in the weeds of all these different exercise variables that people tend to focus too heavily on, in my opinion. Okay, and just to be clear, if it's not already too obvious, basically what I'm recommending you guys do is before you start any workout, you start some sort of a timer, but something that's telling you your specific start and end time of that particular workout. You could just use something like your phone. You can take a quick glance at the clock when you guys start your workout and end. I'd recommend more of like a digital display versus like a hand clock though, personally. You could purchase one of those like gym timers, those are pretty cool. Or you can just take advantage of some sort of like a smartwatch. I know a lot of people have these, and I can link this thing I got down below. It's just like this cheapest Apple Watch you can get. And I really have a love-hate relationship with this thing, honestly, guys, but regardless, I never go starting any workout until I hit that workout button. And I personally picked the functional workout option on one of these Apple Watches if you guys have that. But my rationale for always hitting that workout button really has nothing to do with being like super anal about tracking my workouts or worrying about like what the calories are saying, because obviously that thing is not really accurate in this thing either. But it's for some other reasons I'll get into right here. So I'm gonna give you guys really 3 reasons why I think this particular method is very useful and has a lot of value in actually incorporating into your workouts. First thing is it's just a really great motivator. You can kind of get in your head that once you start that timer, your body should be going and moving. I'm not saying to be like super crazy about this, that you can't like waste any time between sets or you have to pre-plan everything out ahead of time so there's no time wasted. Although there definitely is some value in kind of having some sort of preparatory plan ahead of time. But this does take advantage of that great nature of this equipment, which is the fact that you can kind of change exercises and get so much done in that short period of time and not waste time setting up exercises, adjusting weight plates and stuff like that. So if you do take this time thing a little seriously, you'll be less likely to waste time on exercise that either aren't working out for you. And yeah, you're not gonna waste too much time like resting between sets, because I know, I'm sure you guys have heard of people that maybe say they've done like a hour or 2 hour workout, but really there's only like 30 or 40 minutes worth of work in that actual workout. And it's a very basic motivator. So for a lot of people, if you're kind of really judging and you know the fact that you're pretty much putting a lot of movement once that clock is started, I've noticed this a lot of times myself, that maybe some workouts felt like they were harder initially. Maybe I was 20 or 30 minutes in. A lot of new people say this. All of a sudden, one of the biggest progressions they notice, without knowing like the specifics of like the incline or whatever, is that now they can go at 10 more extra minutes, where previously they can only do maybe 20. And on that note, a second great thing about kind of really paying attention to your time is this can be a great benchmark or gauge on your overall workouts. So we can focus on all sorts of stuff. People do, you know, how many progressions of reps, how many progressions of sets, how am I going up in weight in the machine or the incline in the machine. All those things are definitely really great. They can be a little cumbersome with this machine, and in my opinion, if you focus too much on that, you kind of lose kind of the fun aspect and just the intuitiveness of this machine. But one thing that's always going to be a constant, always a foundational, always a limiting resource for all of us, and is a very precious commodity, as you guys all can imagine, is our total available time. And I would say a close second to that, and definitely related to it as well, is just how much energy or potential energy you have in that particular workout. Don't get me wrong, of course, I'm still encouraging you guys to find those exercises that work with you, have some sort of template or plan. Put out a lot of videos, you guys, and resources in that area. Once you have all that stuff kind of squared away, just do as much work as you can based on how much time is allotted and also how you're feeling in that particular day. And I find in my typical workouts, really that's ultimately what I'm taking inventory of, or both those variables. Really how I'm feeling or how I'm working that particular day, and just how much available time I have, what total workout time is. Sometimes I'm clocking in about like hour plus or hour workouts. Maybe I could do more, but I know at this point, you know, if I glance at my watch and I see that, okay, I'm getting close to an hour, I'm over an hour, maybe 70 minutes in, and I'm like, even though I could probably do more, I know it's probably all the main work has been done for the day. It's time to kind of close up shop and call it a day. Certainly you could do more, and there's some days you can do more or less sessions, but sometimes there is a point of diminishing returns that really it's better to kind of call it quits than to keep going forward. And then the opposite has happened too, where sometimes I glance at my watch and I feel like I'm working out pretty hard and I realize I'm only did like maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Sometimes that happens, you know, in those follow along workouts I do with you guys. Or maybe potentially I just feel a little off that day and I glance at the clock and I'm like, you know what, I didn't do a whole lot, but maybe I'm gonna kind of call it quits. I'll pump the brakes here. Maybe I'll drop the incline, or I'll jump to some other form of physical activity that's not as high of an intensity. Like I use the incline rower, I might do some like light cardio or something like that. But on both those examples, I'm really kind of looking at my watch as a nice kind of benchmark or gauge to kind of see how I'm feeling. And then finally, all this stuff really does build upon each other, but the final point that I think just being mindful of your time really does is it just makes your sliding bench training a lot more intuitive and a lot more simpler. Instead of tracking all these specific exercise variables, which again, you can still do, I encourage you guys, especially if you guys like it, but getting just too lost in the weeds and worrying about all these minute details, using and just being mindful of your total workout time allows you just to focus on the total effort placed throughout the workout. Because at the end of the day, the amount of total work you guys are putting in is what's driving that positive adaptation in lean muscle tissue. Odds are most of you guys are probably mindful of your time to a certain extent, but it's definitely worthwhile if you haven't done so just to assess just how much actual work is being done in your typical workout. So try this out yourself. I'm probably going to be featuring this and maximizing this on my upcoming program on my website that I'll be putting for sale for you guys, as this will be kind of like a general foundation of each workout along with those traditional exercise variables. As always, love to hear from you guys. I know some of you guys are doing something similar. You have a set kind of program on how you approach your training, and I'm sure part of it is related to time, so I'd love to kind of hear what you guys have to say to that. If you have any objections or issues with what I'm expressing here and how this might be a detriment to your training, let me know that as well and help to kind of answer those questions if I can. But as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this was informative. I will see you guys on the next video.